What happened on July 15th in the year 2016? It is a night never to be forgotten. It is for the first time in the Turkish history that a military takeover failed, and it marks an important victory for the people of Turkey. It has been 5 years since military tanks rolled across the bridges over the Bosphorus Strait and fighter jets fired on Turkish civilians. July 15th marks the 5th anniversary of a failed coup attempt that has left a permanent mark on the collective psyche of Turkey, its politics and diplomacy.
In Istanbul, the road going from the Asian to the European side has been shut. The bridge is now closed to traffic. It's not possible to say what is happening, but the footage is showing us that there are military police on the bridge. They're not offering any explanation for why they are there.
Emniyet binasını vurun. Emniyet binasını tahrip edin. Anlaşıldı. Çatışma olan bölgeye atış yapıyoruz. Mutabık mıyız? Tamam mutabık. Emniyet binasına atış yapın. Emniyet binasına.
Türk askeriyle savaşıyor. Böyle bir şey yok ya.
I saw astounding images of military forces taking over the Bosphorus bridges, the airports, and then was so amazed and relieved when I saw the people power of so many hundreds of thousands of just common Turkish citizens coming out to defend not necessarily anyone in particular, but defending the institution of democracy.
Dur ambulans gönderiyorum.
There were around 250 people who were mercilessly killed and at least 2,000 wounded as they stood up against the renegade group of armed soldiers loyal to the FETÖ terror group. They came in armored vehicles unleashing machine guns against their fellow countrymen. Anyone who was in Istanbul, Turkey's biggest city and home to grandiose Ottoman palaces and beautiful mosques, will talk about the fear low-flying F-16 jets struck in the hearts as they zoomed past, breaking the sound barrier. But despite those fears, thousands poured out onto the streets of major cities, including the capital Ankara, because they would have none of it. As it became apparent that a group of traitors dressed as soldiers wanted to dislodge the democratically elected government, tens of thousands of Turkish people came out of their homes during the midnight to protest against the coup attempt.
Biz on binlerle aşağı doğru geldik. Nereye doğru? Askerlerin olduğu yere doğru.
The protesters fought at key locations of Istanbul and Ankara, confronting the putschis or the traitors on the bridges, National Parliament building and other significant locations. The protesters resisted with whatever they could get their hands on: rocks, signposts and even shoes. Shocking mobile phone recordings made rounds on social media. A civilian man was run over by a tank as he stood in front of it. A woman was shot dead in cold blood. Police commandos, including many female officers, lost their lives defending the posts and headquarters. The coup plotters bombed the parliament building in Ankara and made an attempt on the life of President Recep Tayyip Erdogan, who barely managed to survive what many consider was either an assassination or kidnapping plot.
Biz bu yola, bu kutlu davaya başımızı koymuşuz. Buraya biz canımızla, kefenimizle bu yola çıkmışız. İşgalcilere ülkemizi asla bırakmayacağız.
In subsequent weeks after the coup failed, Turkish prosecutors gathered evidence confirming that the treason was instigated by the cult leader. His name is Fethullah Gulen, the head of FETÖ terror group. Turkish politics and history have been marred by multiple coups. Its first democratically elected leader, the former Prime Minister Adnan Menderes, was executed by the junta in 1961 after the country's first military coup. By 2016, it was a different people. A faction of the military was up against. The Turkish public had struggled hard for democracy and had seen its benefits in the shape of rapid economic development, infrastructure expansion, construction of subways, and improvement in public transportation. The country had a lot at stake on the night of July 15th. Meanwhile, Turkey's Western allies, including its NATO partners, were too slow in condemning the coup. A fact that Joe Biden, who was the vice president, then acknowledged during his visit to Turkey a month after the coup. In the months following the failed coup attempt, Turkish prosecutors and courts began charging the putschis. Some European lawmakers started raising concerns regarding the rights of the accused. This further infuriated the Turkish leadership. It was around that time Turkey recalibrated its foreign policy and Ankara began to rebalance its ties with Moscow. The United States, which is Turkish traditional ally since the end of World War II, did little to investigate Gulen, who continues to live in the state of Pennsylvania, his vast network of businesses in the US undeterred. On its part, Turkey says it has provided all the needed evidence to Washington to start legal proceedings against the FETÖ terrorist leader. Despite the lack of support from Western allies, the Turkish people displayed a remarkable resolve in defending the country. For millions of Turks to rise up in such an unprecedented manner against these traitors meant that they have collectively sent out a message, one that says never again. And I would like to extend my heartfelt condolences to those families who lost their loved ones, those martyrs who fought bravely for the well-being of the people and for the country on that night. This is Salim Kadir from Bangladesh, and I would like to show my solidarity with Turkey, and I would like to also mention that Turkey is not alone. We always will stand with Turkey. That being said, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.